All right, so why do I camp alone most of the time? That's probably a fair question. I get asked that, not every day for sure, but I do ask that periodically. How come I camp alone so much? How come I don't camp with people? And the other way the question comes up is people suggest, hey, you want to come camp with us or come meet up with us or whatever. And most of the time I'm going to decline that. And there's a few reasons for it, and I thought maybe it'd be good for me to talk about and explain that because it may be a bit of a mystery. Now, if you've been following this channel or to meander, either one for any length of time, you've probably heard me say that socialization is not a problem for nomads and that usually you have all the socialization you can handle, and that is 100% true. So don't think that just because I'm camped alone a lot means that it's not possible to find lots of people to hang out with and socialize with as you wish. But despite that, I do usually camp alone. And that's been especially true my first year on the road. And now, again, this year, this past year, I've camped alone, especially the last half of this last year. I've camped alone most of the time, vast majority of the time. The middle couple years there in the middle, I was traveling with Deborah. And so, obviously, I was with another person. But even still, we usually camped alone, just the two of us, although there were times we camped with groups of friends and things and what have you. And actually right now I am actually with a group of a few friends, although everybody's kind of doing their own thing. So I'm parked near people, but I'm still like mostly doing my own thing and not really. I think I've done one group gathering around the fire pit, and that's it, in the last few days. So mostly I'm alone, and that's, like I said, especially true my first year, especially true again this year, and I just don't spend a lot of time in group settings. And so I'll talk a little bit about why real briefly in this video. This is a really cool wash I'm in right now, not too far from where we're camped. It's pretty big. There's actually a number of washes that go through this kind of a plain in the desert here. There's some mountains around, but then there's a plain, a valley, but it's pretty flat, and there's a number of washes. This is a big one I'm in. It's a lot of fun to track through the washes. It's sort of like nature's superhighway. You find a lot of wildlife uses the washes too, because the walking tends to be easier, especially like ones like this. It's a nice, just like a gravel beach, sand and gravel beach in the wash. So I'm tracking along through there, making my way around, exploring a bit. So it's also easy to find most of the trees and the vegetation, because of course that's where the water flows. When it does rain, it runs into the washes, and so that's where these trees are able to get some the water they need to survive in the desert here. So first reason I camp alone a lot is I'm an introvert. Now, you get people on a scale between introvert and extrovert, and when I don't want to go into all the nitty gritty there and whether people's personality changes over time and so on. What I do want to point out though is that introverts in general tend to find hanging out in groups of people and socializing to be depleting, and they find alone time to be recharging. Extroverts are on the other end of that, where they get stressed out and depleted being alone. They recharge being with people. And so as an introvert, I need plenty of alone time to recharge for me. And when I get in a group setting, I may love and enjoy visiting with people and getting to know people and to reconnect with friends and everything else, but it wears me out pretty quick. And so I can only handle limited amounts of that socialization before I have to retreat and be alone to just to recharge and recover so that I can do it again at a later time. All right, well, onward to the wash here. So another reason I camp alone most of the time is just solitude, and one of the components of that is just being able to think, because we spend so much time distracted with so many things going on, and I like to have some downtime, kind of think things through, be inside my own head, think about direction I'm going, different projects I'm on, work, that sort of stuff, and even my work. I like to be able to get focused on that, and so when I get focused on a project, I might go for hours straight with hardly even a break. Sometimes I'll pull 8, 10, 12 hours straight working on a project, and so I get engrossed in something. So I like the solitude for that reason. But another thing about solitude, there's been a lot of science coming out recently about the healing power of nature and the benefits that go with that. And that's something that too often, too many people in our modern busy world don't get to experience or appreciate. I think it's very important to have those quiet moments of solitude on a regular basis. And so being alone allows me to do that. We're camping with a group. Sometimes there's some social pressure to participate in group activities or get-togethers or to visit and talk with people. And so sometimes I just prefer to be alone, just so that I can have that solitude that I need for my own personal well-being and for work and things. Alright, so I'm walking along and you see this wash behind me, and the way it's you got sand on the one side, kind of gravelly sand on the one side, rough rock here. I walked this wash a couple times since I've been in this campsite, and it rained again yesterday or the day before. Since the last time I was out here, and the contours of this wash have changed again. And that's the way with washes, and it's the way you have to be careful about being in them, or especially camping in them, when at any time they're dry most of the time, and then when it rains, and it can be 10 miles away, they flash flood and it'll sweep people away. It does it every year if you're in the desert at all, so you have to watch out. But you see the results of that here is the contours change. And so if you walk the wash regularly, or you're in that area and you see it a lot, you'll notice after a rain how everything changes. It kind of brings me to my next point, my third reason for why I camp alone a lot, and that's flexibility. And that is that I change my schedule a lot. I don't like this wash changes every time it rains. I change my schedule a lot. And that's part of the reason I'm a nomad. I don't like being locked into some set schedule. Now I know nomads who do. You could set your watch by their activities and by their routines, and that's fine if that works for you. But it doesn't work for me. I like to mix things up. And so if I'm camped with somebody else, they may be expecting me to arrive at a certain time or to leave at a certain time, and I may or may not happen. Even if I get there at the time they expect, I may just decide to stay longer and not go where other people are going. I may decide to leave early. That happens more often than not, to be honest. So I may just leave and go do something different because my interest changed, my schedule changed. So that happens a lot, and I like to remain flexible. And camping with other people kind of puts a damper on that a little bit. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from doing what I want, but there's kind of some social pressure, some expectations a lot of times to, go with what the group had planned or whatever. And you sometimes run into hurt feelings or whatever, people being a little disgruntled if you up and change your mind at the last minute. And I kind of do that a lot. So flexibility is the third reason I like to camp alone a lot. All right, so fourth reason I camp alone a lot, hearing impaired thanks to a brain injury from a serious crash 20 years ago now. And I was lucky to come through it and survive, but I did, and that's one of the leftovers. Is I have a pretty significant hearing loss. I'm very significant in my left ear, moderate in my right ear, and it just makes it really hard to follow conversations and to interact with people, especially in group settings or whatever, or with any kind of background noise. I just can't hear, and I have hearing aids that and it helps, but not always. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Audiologists will even tell you that their hearing aids are not a cure. It's an adjunct that helps under certain circumstances, and it's frustrating a lot of times to be in a group where we're trying to talk. I can't hear clearly what's going on. I have to ask people to repeat themselves a lot, or just try and fill in the blanks as best I can and hope that I'm filling it in right. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't. So that makes it hard to be in groups. It's easier for me to interact with people by text or by email or on social media, where I can control the audio and control the or see things in written form. It's just easier for me than trying to deal with one-on-one or one-on-group conversations a lot of times. So, and that's going to be an issue for a lot of people, not just people who have hearing loss, but people who have different forms of limitations or disabilities, whether physical, emotional, psychological, whatever. It can make it difficult to deal with groups and easier to just not engage. And so that's one of the reasons I camp alone a lot, is because I don't have to worry about not being able to understand what people are saying to me when they're talking to me. So I can base my interactions around things I can control better, like through a computer or a mobile device. So that's reason number 4. So the 5th reason I camp alone a lot is just work. Now, I could, with a lower cost of living in nomadically, especially in a van or something, I could, and doing a lot of boondocking, I could work part-time if I had steady freelance work or a steady remote job, but I don't. I do some freelance work on occasion, but for the most part, I'm trying to build something that will be worth more in the future, but doesn't pay a lot right now. And so as a result of that, I tend to work a lot trying to build a business. And the point, I work anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. So I'm not much of a campmate. I mean, my normal deal is I get up in the morning, get out of bed, do my morning routine, which varies a little from time to time. I do my morning routine, open the laptop and start working, and I work, or grab a camera, whichever the case may be, and I work until my brain is basically no longer cooperating, sometime at night. During the winter, that's a little bit earlier than during the summer, because it gets dark at 5 o'clock or something, 4:35, 5:30, depending on where you're at exactly. So that's kind of depressing, but yeah, after a few hours of being dark, you start getting tired. But I go to bed, so when I'm done working. So that's pretty much my routine, 6 to 7 days a week, is I'm working 12 to 16 hours a day. So as a result of that, yeah, I'm not much of a campmate, and there's never an end of work when you're self-employed. There's always something else to do. And so I stay busy, and I don't have much time to socialize, and if I were to camp with someone, they'd never see me anyway. So on the rare times when I do camp with somebody, it's usually somebody who I know understands that, and they have a similar need, for one reason or another, to be isolated almost all day, every day. So there's an expectation that we're both going to just be hanging out, doing our thing, and we're not going to be so much expecting to socialize or whatever. So that's just the way it has to be for me to work out. So those are my reasons for why I camp alone a lot. It's not because I hate people. It's not because my social skills are so inadequate that I can't get along with people. That's not the case at all. It just works better for me. And I do, once in a while, camp with a small group of people. And even less frequently, once in a great while, I'll go to an event or a meetup, a gathering, and interact with people. But that's kind of the exception. The norm for me is I just camp alone, do my thing, and that's just where I'm at. Now, will I do something different in the future? Sure, maybe. I don't know. If my circumstances change, I may do something different in the future. But for now, that's kind of how I'm doing things. So what about you? I want to know about you and your camping experience, your style. Do you camp alone a lot, or do you mostly camp with groups of people? Leave a comment below. Let me know what your experience is and your style, how you prefer to camp and travel. Thanks for joining this video, everybody. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. New travel videos, usually a couple times a week, or travel-related videos. And if you enjoyed this video at all, please hit the like button. And if you didn't like the video, please still consider hitting the like button, because things help. So thanks a lot for supporting small independent creators. Hope you enjoyed this, though, and we'll see you in the next one.